So I spoke about computer structure. You can find it in a previous session. But computer in the next explanation will be named either computer or workstation. Workstation is a terminal for the network which actually work with higher hierarchical computers like a servers. So that could be workstation or server. What is the difference between workstation and server? Human human works with a workstation. Server controlled by network. Okay, folks. So computer. What computer can do? Computer doing few things. First, it's calculation. Second, entertainment, display. Third, telecommunication. And four is technology control. What is technology control, folks? It's a robotic device, meaning the computer really controls the manufacturing, which is humanless manufacturing. There's many factories now working under control of the computer. And what's human doing in this case? Human just controlling computers. So that is basically what function of the computer. People who create computers were dreaming about how to connect two or more computers into the network. Why we need to connect them into the network? Because the hard storage here is limited. So in a contemporary computer, we have 1 to 2 TB terabyte, 2 terabyte of storage. We need to exchange information between few computers. And what we need telecommunication devices that will connect computers between each other. And we need to have some kind of organization principles, how this network will be controlled and how that will be governing what will actually control this network. Folks, the first network that was created was a local area network, local area. So what is local area, folks? It's under one roof, inside of one building, inside of one building. And the anatomy or geography or topology is quite the same thing for local area network, which is LAN, local area network. Could be different. And architecture for the first network was looking like this. That was the ring. Computers were connected to this ring. So this is 1, 2. Imagine that it's like circular telephone. So when you would like computer number 1 to speak to computer number 3, the ring will be occupied. The ring will be busy. And computer number 2 and computer number 4 and computer number 5 and number 6, number 5 and number 6 will not have possibility to speak to each other. When number 1 and number 3 finish conversation, and the first take the ring, for example, it's number 2, will call number 5, and all other computers, the volume is low. Okay, give me a second, I will try to fix it. Is now better? Supposed to be better.
Professor, it's better. It's good.
Okay. So this topography or this schematic diagram of local network is named token ring. Token ring. What's token ring, folks? Because when number 1 calls any other computer or number 2 calls any other computer, for example, number 4, so it creates token to speak to the next computer. So it's token ring. But this is very bad configuration because when 2 of them speaking between each other need to keep silence. Okay, the next that was created, star communication. Star communication. How it looks like. It needs the middle computer, which is named server. And all other computers need to be connected to this server. 1, 2, 4. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 are workstations. So it looks like you have somebody who will collect gossips, right? For example, number 1. Oh, I have something to tell you about number 2. And then server will collect information about number 2, and then it'll call number 2. You know number 2. number 2, yes. Number 1 told something about you. So this is star communication. Star is better. Why is better? Because they all working in a different time. And server is so big and so fast. So I'll put big and fast. This is server, big and fast. So you'd have time for every computer here, for everyone. No, folks, this is good for one room, It's good for one room, but what happens if we have 2 rooms? We need to have star communication with the server in one room, and we need to have star communication in another room. What's happened if we need to speak room to room, not a computer to computer inside of one room, but we need to create a schematic diagram that will have opportunity to connect one room to another room. This is server 1, this is server 2. So suggestion is to create one more server. This server will stay a little higher than these 2. It's a bigger server. So definitely if we have the 3rd room, we will have opportunity to connect it to this server. Now, folks, communication will look differently. For example, computer number 1 from the room number 3 need to speak to computer number 2 from the room number 1. Computer number 1 call his server. It's like immediate supervisor and said, "Dear server, can you connect me to the computer number 2 from the..." Okay, sorry. So computer number 1 from server 3, his server, and said, "Excuse me, server, could you connect me to computer number 2 from the server 1?" And then server 3, it knows the server 0, high hierarchical server, can connect to all of these computers, and it called server 0 and said, one of my computers would like to connect server 1 computer 2. So you see, you have now address of this computer that connect under which network number of computer. So we have 3 networks, right? Network 1, network 2, and network 3. And the global server that actually connect everything together. So this situation named hierarchical. 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 Folks, hierarchical meaning it created like army or like the official organization. So the highest level of the serving is CEO or president, then vice presidents, then like our college presidents, then vice presidents, then deans, then chairs, and then professors, and then students. So this is hierarchical. I will change the paper and then we'll go further. But folks, hierarchical is good for, let's say, region. Let's say this. This is server for Brooklyn. This is servers for your area. This is servers for your buildings. And this is local workstations. So it's like roots. It's like roots or tree, right? And the same thing we have in Manhattan, right? We have local networks and something like this. Question, how to connect Brooklyn and Manhattan? We need a global server. And then global server will connect these regions one to another. So folks, we already review the idea of the global network. But before, I would like to tell you that computer, when they connect it through the hierarchical connection inside of the local area, they used the program that controls how they're shaking hands and how they send or receive information. Receiving information in this case goes under control of the program named Ethernet. Ethernet, also named protocol. Protocol that actually shows every computer its own place inside, how to behave when you connect it to the network. Then I will go for the dramatical part of my speech today.
Professor, can I ask you a question, please? If I have an information in the local
network
level, okay, I lost this information. Where I can find it?
This is good question. If you lost it on your special computer on your workstation, you could lose it forever. But if you keep your email, for example, on a server, there's an option to keep it on a server. Then you can request server to find it and to recover it. But recover information in a network, this is a big, huge topic. And we cannot review this because this is a very serious question. Let me tell you in common that network allows you to recover information if you lost it in most cases, okay? But spies or diversions or maybe people who would like to intrude and place viruses, their problem is to put to put the risk on the information and destroy the informational pool. So that is a big problem. So let's go further.
Thank you.
So in 1962, folks, I was 12 years old, but you probably were not in the project yet. But the president of the United States was JFK, John Fitzgerald, and the president of Soviet Union was Nikita Khrushchev. Khrushchev was very evil, very dangerous, like Putin now. Visited United States a couple of times, and he observed actually that people in the United States have a quite good life. They have cars, they have buildings. I mean, they live in private houses. They have good roads. They have good food. Comparing with other countries, especially with Soviet Union, which was pretty poor country. Not poor in the matter of military equipment, tanks, missiles, and everything else, including nuclear bombs. But people in Soviet Union were very poor. So definitely Nikita Khrushchev wanted to have everything that United States have in respect to have it in Soviet Union for free, right? And then at this time, folks, the Cuban president was Fidel Castro. Fidel Castro made communism in Cuba. So he was the best friend of Nikita Khrushchev because Nikita actually helped him to create the internal police system to control people of the Cuban islands. And then Nikita told Fidel that Soviet Union would like to put nuclear missiles in Cuba, nuclear atomic bomb. But you know that Cuba is 100 miles from Miami Beach. And then JFK was informed that Soviet Union built the fortress in Cuba stuffed with nuclear missiles. And definitely JFK called Nikita Khrushchev and asked him, stop doing it, because this is not, sorry, this is not what we expected in relationship between our country. But Nikita Khrushchev said, we're going to bury you, United States. We're going to take everything you have for free. We're going to conquer you. And then JFK called all his military advisors, generals, marshals, military supervisors, and so on, heads of all departments in military in the United States. And he said, okay, first, we need red alert, meaning this is very dangerous. How can we communicate? Because President of the United States is Supreme Commander, and he needs to communicate with all sort of military, Navy, aviation, Marines, submarines, infantry, and everything else. But what's happened if nuclear mushroom, let's say, will be exploded in somewhere, right? No telephone. Why no telephone? Because telephone is a cable. Cable will be melted. No radio.
Gene
Please,
Florestan,
please.
can you please silence your video, please? Gene?
So, folks, I will repeat it because it's probably blackouted. So, JFK asked his marshals, generals, and all heads of army, marine, aviation, and submarine and infantry. What we're supposed to do? How Supreme Commander is supposed to communicate with the sort of military, because no telephone is melted, cable will be melted. No radio communication will be down because of the nuclear activity. That is, will be radio contamination everywhere, radioactivity. And definitely no post office, because post office is already dead, because when the nuclear explosion happened, nothing can survive. So there is no way to communicate. And then one guy from the Massachusetts, from MIT, he stand up and he said, "Mr. President, I know how to communicate." And when JFK asked him, he said, "That must be computer network. That must be computer network, guys, which actually can survive during the nuclear communication, nuclear warfare." Why I tell you this dramatic story, folks? Because this story is famous as Caribbean crisis, and the world actually was from one step from this total destruction, because that was on the threshold of the nuclear world war. That is actually we are now. You know, the war in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Putin, jeopardized the entire world that he will apply the nuclear bomb. So how can we telecommunicate in this case? Let me explain, folks, the idea. That is our country, right? So the very rough, this is the contour of geography. And this is New York, this is Miami Beach, this is Washington, this is Chicago, this is Tucson, this is Seattle, and all other countries, meaning all other cities in our country. This is Stamford. Even this is Toronto, and this is Vancouver. The first idea, to create computer underground center which will be protected from the explosion. In New York, in Washington, D.C., in Chicago, in Seattle, in Miami Beach, everywhere. And it is created. Then, created underground telecommunication line with telecommunication facilities between every of these computers, every and each. And you can see every and each computer workstations or servers here must be connected to each other like this. Take a look, folks. I'm still going to connect it. To build this network, folks, it costs a lot of money. It's only way of communication, the nuclear war outside of our buildings. Now, this network already consider that. But how can we identify the points that actually connected to the network? The idea is to give every computer center that's sitting underground of this network to give the unique number. It's like telephone number, like 112.116.32.96. Another computer will have different number. Another computer will have different number. It's like telephone number. But in the computer network, this number named IP address. Information protocol. So this computer will have IP address. Every single on this network will have unique address. Then, folks, every computer which actually connected to this must have internal program that control the way how it connected to other computers. And that named communication protocol. Communication protocol, folks, that was created for this network named TCP/IP. What is TCP/IP? Transmission Control Protocol. Write it down for yourself. Transmission Control Protocol. Internet Protocol. Why it's called Internet? Because inter meaning international. When JFK gave money to create this very expensive network, he considered that America lonely in his fight to the world evil. America will have allies like Great Britain, like Europe, like everything, every country that would like to support America in his fight. Okay, so Internet Protocol. What actually TCP/IP? It's a family, actually already family of protocols. What it's supposed to do? Let me change my piece of paper, and then I will continue. First, folks, consider that we work under the under the warfare conditions, and every single minute we expect the nuclear explosion to come on our city. That is horrible, but this is reality of the nuclear war. That is very dangerous. People will die. So what we need to do? Consider that we have this network. I already will make the little map of our country. You have this network, the communication centers, and all crisscross communications that we have. Now, consider that New York City computer, it's a Navy computer that need to send message to Seattle computer. How to send message safely. So this message will guarantee to go and will be received by Seattle computer. And this message is quite big. Let's say is 25 pages of the document. Can you imagine you will read this document as a sound? Or you will do something like this, transmit this document through the network, which is quite slow. So the idea is the first step to cut this document to fragments. I don't know how many fragments it could be. But fragment is very simple. For example, every single sentence will be a fragment. But this fragment must be supplied. That will be IP of sender, IP of recipient, today, meaning today's date, number and ID of the document, what else? Number of pages, and fragment. So everything like this will be encapsulated in one file. And this computer which is sender computer, and this is recipient computer, will start working to send the first thing. But this thing also named package. Why package? Because it's packed everything in one single capsule. So this sending computer will have the first package to send, and it start screaming, "Hello, all computers around, anybody around me, can you receive my package? Can you receive my package number one?" And the protocol that control nearest computers around the sender computer, they will force the receiving computers to pick up this package. And the first who can hear it will say, "I open my hands for this package." Sorry guys, I need a little. All right, so the first computer received the package from the computer sender. The first computer online in the network. When it received the first package, the sender already starts screaming, "A second package is ready. Who can take it?" Another computer will take it. "Who can take the third one? Who can take the third one?" Third computer will take it. So folks, actually, nobody knows and who will take the package which is still in the list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number one package is in computer number two. This computer number two starts screaming, "Hey, everybody, who can take this package?" The nearest computer will take it. And so on, folks. This is like avalanche. All of these packages will be distributed through the network with a different speed in a different number of computers, but eventually they must all be collected by computer recipient. But how this computers on a network need to know where the recipient actually, when computers shaking hands using TCP IP protocol, and this is transmission control protocol, internet protocol, this includes such a fragment of protocol named geographical information, and this is routing. Routing meaning like a zip code of this computer, where it is allocated. So all of these computers has routing information inside of their memory. And they know if IP address, but we have IP addresses for recipient, is a certain, must be this direction. But if this is New York State IP address, sent by recipient, previously recipient, but now it's sender. So computers will know that need to go this direction to New York State. Jen, okay. So folks, this is how network is working. But I would like to mention where we are on this big diagram, because this is a huge computer centers that's sitting underground. They are hidden. They are under conspiracy. Nobody knows where they are, and so on. How can we connect it to this? This is an interesting question, but before, folks, I would like to tell you that this network was created in 1970s. The lab that created this was DARPA. This is Defense Initiative Programs for the Army. So this network was named ARPANET. Folks, unfortunately, I will tell you horrible things. That this ARPANET, with all algorithms, TCP/IP routing, was stolen by Soviet Union from United States. And all the billions of money that United States put here actually was in vain. After this, what United States decided to do? United States decided to give ARPANET away to the world. Not only Soviet Union, not only Russia, but everybody. So the ARPANET, since that time, became Inter. That is TCP/IP and routing system. Now, the internet, now information about TCP/IP routing, organization of centers, and everything like this. But how United States supposed to defend their telecommunication system? United States created. United States created. You could ask me, do I know anything about it? No. Do you know anything about it? No. Why? Because it's top secret. It is top secret. Only special military officers supposed to know. But it's in use. Military system use it. And our ships, our divisions, our squadrons, and everything else communicate using this new internet communication. But old internet is what world use now, and we all use it. Now, question: how can we find ourselves on this specific diagram? Where are we? So, folks, I will take this little piece of the network and I find this server for New York, which is connected to different telecommunication facilities of other servers. And this server connected to our local server of server internet provider. So I'll put here internet service provider, ISP. And this internet service provider will connect to local servers in the buildings. And then buildings will be connected to our workstations. So here we are. You see, we are pretty small. Our computers are small, small, small. And this is big computers, servers. Question: can I create myself as internet service provider? Folks, yes, I can. Nothing is prohibited. But can you imagine how much server for internet service provider costs? Billions of dollars. So if you like Elon Musk, or you AT&T, or you are Verizon, or T-Mobile, then you can create network. Some people create a small network and connect to internet. Yes, you can do this. But it will not be a global network anymore. It will be a small network. So how can we give the definition for the internet? I will say, folks, as soon as this is local area network, and this one local area network, and this is, so internet is global connection of local area networks. Internet is global connection of local area networks. So every local network, which actually contain your computer inside, when it connects to internet, became network that every computer has access to every computer in a global network. Okay, what else I would like to tell you about this package commutation? By the way, folks, this system of splitting the main document to the small packages named commutation, package commutation. So when all of these packages collected on the recipient end, they all will be glued together and the document will be recovered. When the document recreated, you can hear, you got mail. That is the moment the document is recovered and you can read it. The same happened with the pictures, the same happened with the music, the same happened with movies, everything coming through the package commutation. Now, folks, next piece of paper. Sorry, guys. Still a little bit sick. Speaking about networks, so if we have the piece of map with cities that are connected to each other and to internet service provider servers to local computers, so that's meaning, folks, that you can connect to your service provider, and service provider will bring you to the global network. Now, what is the usefulness for us to go to the network? For military usage, I understand. Military usage. Why? Because all orders, all technical information, all locations, and all plans and control functions that generals, marshals need to send to their divisions, understandable. But how can we use it? Folks, early 90s, let's say in 1993, people who created this internet, they considered that as soon as server, I'll put here, is a computer. Okay, it is more expensive, more reliable, bigger, and must stand the concrete, but it still has a hard drive, HDD. Hard drive, which is connecting to all information, and they actually consider that information that server dealing with online is timely made information. So information is became a rotten pretty fast. For example, if I need $100 right now and I sent you a message, for example, dear John, could you please send me immediately $100 because I'm buying a house and I need this for the closing. If this is a later, then no need $100 because the deal is not committed. So people who analyze these hard drives, they said the hard drives is mostly empty because information that was on the hard drive is no need anymore. It's already gone. And then people consider that server is connected to different network, but hard drive is almost empty. Let's put information that will be useful for people. Useful. What kind of information that's supposed to be? Folks, that is governmental, that is communicational, meaning the telephone number of Social Security Department, the telephone number of your doctor, information that entertainment, meaning movies, music, and eventually everything that people need. We cannot put everything on one server. Information is too huge, but we can use certain information on this server, but certain information on another server. They are connected. Okay, I'll put here book chapter 1 to 8, and that will be book chapter 2, 13. And folks, this is server, and this is you, internet service provider, and your workstation. How can you get access to this book, for example, if this is a professional book and you need to read it tomorrow? The entire book. So people who create this network, they said, okay, we need to create the access idea to all of these servers, how this regular user can access to this particular information. And so they create consortium named 3W, World Wide Web, 3WC, World Wide Web Consortium. And they said, let us create something that will named World Wide Web. World Wide Web is not the internet. It is different. If internet is telecommunication skeleton that gives you hardware, software for communication, World Wide Web is access idea or access method to what? To the information, that is laying down on the servers. That was a brilliant idea. And so they said, how can we recognize every information on the server? And then somebody said, let's create website. Let's name it URL. URL is uniform locator, uniform recognition locator. Okay, so URL. URL is a website. How can it be recognized? By IP address, because IP address is what actually makes this server recognizable. This is unique IP address. But that could be few websites in one IP address. How can we recognize website? So they create the name of the website. First, of course, they need a protocol that will work with websites. Protocol named HTML. That is specific language give you opportunity to create websites. Hypertext up. Now, folks, I will take this away. And we'll go further. What is HTML? Hypertext. What is hypertext? Consider you have a book, and this is chapter 1, chapter 2, and this is chapter 3. And this book is on a server, and then chapter 5 is on a server. This is a connection. So connection through the internet. Consider you finish chapter 1, you finish chapter 2, you finish chapter 3. Nothing is difficult because they're all on one server, server number 2. And then there are no more chapters. And then you find something named link. Hyperlink contained IP address, which is connect you to the chapter. So the text plus links, it is HTML, hypertext markup language. So if somebody asks you what is hypertext markup language, you can ask, this is language of the web, language of the World Wide Web. But folks, computer works with a binary code, but we works with a screen. Screen is human understandable. So take a look. This is information on computer, which is binary, and that is a screen, which is human understandable. How to make it understandable? Need to something to convert. What is converting? I'll put here named browser. Browser will take information from the binary system from the computer, convert it to human understandable format, and will display it on a screen so you will be able to understand the text, see the pictures, and hear the music. So folks, what does URL or website looks like? Let's go for this. HTTP. HTTP, folks, is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. We need to show the protocol that actually we work with. Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Then colon // and then we need to put www.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Why do we sometimes have the S at the end of the HTTPS?
Secure. www, then the name of the URL, for example, eBay, and then extension .com. So this is web address. Now, extensions could be very different. Governmental, educational, TV, rule for Russia, and so on and so on. But most common is communicational. So now, folks, what we do have, we have internet as a global connection of local networks. So the entire world can communicate with each other. We have communication facilities, communication hardware, and even communication software. But we do not have the method or technology which allows us to pull and put information on these servers. So internet is cold, it's not humanistic. To make it understandable by human, people created World Wide Web. And World Wide Web is not internet. World Wide Web is a second. It's a second floor, right, of internet. So this is informational pool that people use to send and receive information, to exchange emails and so on. And definitely, it also has protocol that works with HTML. HTML is hypertext markup language. I have an idea to create my own website. What I need for that? You can tell me. If HTML is a language of the web, so you need to know how to organize and sentences in HTML, then translate it into the binary code and send it to the servers that control URLs. Okay? World Wide Web servers. But folks, that's already done by different software. And I will tell you now, absolutely incredible thing. Okay, to have your own website is now standard for business. If somebody, some company, do not have a website, that is very suspicious. Probably they are thieves or cyber criminals. So the first thing that I go to recognize before I pay money for something that very attractive. For example, yesterday somebody suggested me to buy iPad for $5 and said, okay, just put your credit card number and that's it. You will be sent iPad tomorrow. Suppose I do this? No, because I know that internet is, World Wide Web is full of thieves, full of cyber criminals. But if I have website, good website, with contact numbers, with customer service, with whatever, if you're in business, that is the bail. I will have good relationship with this business. But how to build the website? Folks, I will tell you the secret. Nobody in the Medgar College will tell you that. Microsoft Word, you know Microsoft Word, just text processor. But it has very interesting piece. It can translate HTML. Incredible feature. What does that mean? When you create your layout with your photograph, with a textual piece, and put it into word processor, you will create it in a binary form in HT. But you can tell me this is half of the job, because the second piece, we need to put it on a server. Not only this, folks, not only the server. Server is just step one, on step two. This is step one. You need to get your URL, meaning website. What is actually can be recognized that URL name is not what you want. You need to go to the special agency to get your URL and pay for this.
GoDaddy.
Something like this, yes. But folks, what I would like you to do, and what I will explain you how to do, and what will try to find a job or to find a clients for your business. You must create layout Microsoft Word. We will study Microsoft Word beginning from the next session. So when you create it in a special way, so it will include a specific points for the hyperlinks. Then when you save it as HTML, you will have file in the binary code recognized by computer. What computer? What part of the computer? This step one will be displayed by browser, because browser is the program that understand HTML. That's meaning you can recognize to see how good is a photograph, how text displayed, is everything in order, all hyperlinks working. I forgot to tell you folks that if you have 2 pages of this layout, the hyperlink could be between these pages, and the hyperlink could be to the external, I remember what's URL, uniformed
Resource.
Yes.
Locator.
So, external URL. What kind of external URL? www.mec.cuny.edu. No, when you click it, it will bring you to external URL. What meaning to bring you? It will be displayed on a screen of your browser. When you click back, it will go back to your textual area. That will be a project. But before this project is active, you need to finish it and you need to upload it to the specific area. I will tell you where. But what we need to do for step 2 and step 4, step 3. If you really would like to register this website as your own website, you need to go to place it to the server. But placement to the server is not free, folks. Some servers are free, some servers are active for payment. Then get registered your URL, you will have access. Folks, when consortium 3W created this idea of World Wide Web, and when the first World Wide Web was created, they tried to create yellow book of pages. But that was absolutely impossible because it was billions of URLs. So what they made, they create programs that works on a server, and this is search engine. What is search engine doing? If you totally overwhelmed quantity of information that you can get on a World Wide Web, you will ask, for example, Google search engine. I need to find Valery Kazakov telephone number. This is my doctor, right? Who curing my flu. And then I immediately can see Valery Kazakov, Bronx, telephone number, blah, blah, blah. This is Boston Road, address, and time of the doctor's office opened, time of closed, emergency number, and so on. So, folks, when you created website, your website, consider you have a business. I don't know, maybe some of you will have a business. All right, some will build computers, some will do maybe jewelry, some will make the souvenirs. I don't know, maybe some will make a soap. I mean, one of the girl in my previous class, she made absolutely amazing soap from the African ingredients. It's a top secret ingredients, folks, but the perfume from this soap, she gave me one piece as a gift. Absolutely amazing. So her business is flourishing because nobody knows like this what aroma goes there. So, but you need to make your website popular. How you can make it? Then you will figure out that one of the famous browsers, not browsers, one of the famous search engine is Google, and you have 1-800 number from the Google, and you dial this 800 number, and please Google, how can I make my website listed on the first page? You understand the idea, right? I would like all the customers who look for the African style of the soap to see my address and my telephone number on the first page. Then Google will answer, you gonna pay $5,000 a week for this service. Then you scratch your head and said, no, I cannot do this. Then Google say, you cannot do the first page? I will place you on the second page. That will cost you $1,000 a week. So you see, the better business you are, the better advertisement you will have. This is why Google is so expensive, why Google is billions of dollars business, because they dealing with heart of advertisement. They display like yellow pages, like your website, your telephone numbers, everything that's connected to businesses. Okay, folks, all of these materials will be on exams. You will find it not only on this recorded media, but that's already in content 2 and beginning of the content 3, which is MS Word and how to make this website.